Hello people, welcome to Illo Talk. I am Cory Kerr, and today I am going to talk about all of the pre-production stuff that you need to do to get a really solid animation, because you can end up wasting a ton of time if you don't plan. I animated this.
This is Illo Talk.
The first thing you need to do is you need an idea, and that often comes in the shape of a script. I'm not going to go into that too much, but the first visual thing that you're going to do is a storyboard. Now, storyboards are basically just taking the ideas that you have in your head and putting them down on paper visually. So you're going to do little boxes in the shape of the video that you're going to go. And you can see here, here's the storyboard for that animation that you just saw. You can see each frame is going to indicate motion and action or change of scene, and you're going to have arrows that will go in there and say, you know, this thing moves this way, you know, and little notes like that. There's lots of really cool resources on storyboards out there, so make sure that you go take a look at that. But that's stage one. Got to have the storyboards. Now the next major thing you're going to do is an animatic, which I'll get to in a minute. But before you do the animatic, you've got to take the things in your storyboards and sketch them out in a way that you can animate. And so what you're going to do is you're going to just sketch parts. Now you can take your actual boards into Photoshop or Illustrator or some other design software, and you can cut up the pieces from there. Or it might be easier just to get out a piece of paper or your iPad Pro or something like that and sketch all the moving parts. Basically, you're just going to get all the moving parts out, kind of like what I'm showing here in this robot arm. Each one of these is going to be kind of a different part. Once I have all the different parts that are going to be moving, they don't have to be designed at this stage. They're just rough sketches. I just want to get the basic size and shape and how they might move. Then I'm going to put them together in an animatic. Now, an animatic, also called previz or pre-visualization, is a quick and dirty way to see if your timing, your composition, and your movement are going to work, right? And so, for example, in this one, when I did the animatic, I realized that certain parts of the robot arm were too long to function correctly, and so everything kind of folded up on itself, kind of weird. And so I did several different versions of this as I was trying to figure out the movement correctly. But the cool thing about this is before you get into the complication of actual animation, you can get a rough cut of what's going on. You get the timing right. You can see if those transitions work. You can see if you have all the assets that you need. That's what your animatic is. It's a super important step. After you have your animatic, then you kind of have an asset list, a punch list, a parts list, what you need to be able to create, right? And so you go through the animatic and you said, okay, I needed this layer and it needed to be separate than this other layer or whatever, right? So then you design, illustrate, do whatever it is you're going to do, all of those different pieces, and you know which ones are going to be separate from the others because you've already had to separate them when you were doing it on the sketching phase during the animatic. So you take what you've learned in the animatic, you design, and then you rig up your characters, you rig up your machines, you rig up your whatever is going on, get the backgrounds going, and then the fun stuff. Then you animate.
This is Illo Talk.
And I'm not going to get into the animation heavily here because I'm just talking about pre-production, not actual production. But it's really important that you do these stages. You start with your script, you do your storyboards, you get everything ready for your animatic, you do the animatic, you tweak whatever you need to tweak, then take that, design all of your assets according to what you've learned based on what needed to be broken apart, and then you're ready to go. Then all you have to do is just animate. And you can even animate over the top of your animatic. Like you can lay your animatic down on one layer and you can just match things shot by shot because you've already made all of those decisions. And so from there, it's just execution. If you liked this video, check out the rest of my videos, especially my AI to AE playlist, where I take what you know about Adobe Illustrator and I help you learn how to make things move in Adobe After Effects. If you want to see some of my projects, you can go to kuretake.com. You're on my channel, so subscribe, like, ring that bell, all that jazz, and we will see you guys later. I'm out.